Welcome back. Keeping your New Year's resolutions. Our guest, UWGB psychology professor Ryan Martin. I want to start with some small steps here. Let me get specific to try to help people out there with some of these resolutions. Quitting smoking. Those who try cold turkey rarely can do it cold turkey. What small steps can somebody take to quit smoking?
Yeah, so some of these I think it's worth noting too for people that a good thing to do is to enlist the help of a professional when you need to. So things related to, some pretty serious health behaviors like smoking, it might make sense to actually meet and talk to a psychologist about it. Now, I think regardless of what it is you're trying to do, a couple things that we know are going to be effective. First of all is to set a date at which you plan on making this change and have that date not be too far in the future. For a lot of people, it was January 1st, right? But have that date be something that's kind of coming up, right? To then enlist the support of the people you know who are going to be helpful. And then another thing is to start paying attention to the times in your life where you have either been successful with this goal or slipped. Meaning, let's actually pay attention to the times where I've said, you know what, I want to get to the gym this week. Figure out when it's worked for you and figure out when it's interfered or when it hasn't worked. And pay attention to all the details around those situations. What was going on in the environment? How were you feeling sort of leading up to it? What sorts of thoughts did you have? What kept you from going or what encouraged you to go? And then once you start doing that, you start to notice patterns, right? You start to notice like, hey, I was under a lot of stress and that's why I didn't get myself to go, or that's why I decided to smoke, or that's why I had a drink. Or you notice, like, hey, this was a day where I had gotten a really good night's sleep the night before, and that made it easier for me to get up and feel refreshed and get out the door, or do whatever it was I was trying to do. And I think that if you can, think about those patterns, then those become things that you can kind of intervene with in your own life, and say, okay, I do better when I'm well rested. I got to make sure I'm getting enough sleep. I'm going to make sure I'm taking care of myself that way.
I have heard also that one strategy some people use is don't put yourself stuck on that New Year's Day. Ease yourself into it.
Yep.
Starting in December or...
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think one of the things I would say is, take small steps and praise yourself for accomplishing those. And so to think, you know what, I'm going to... it goes back to setting those expectations and making sure that the goals are manageable. If we say, hey, this first week, I only want to accomplish this, and then when you accomplish it, praise yourself, be proud of yourself. Too often people minimize those accomplishments and they say, wow, yeah, I did it, but that's because I didn't set a very lofty goal.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just be proud of yourself for doing what you set out to do. Praise yourself. Set a little bit harder goal the next time. Maybe it's, hey, this week I want to work out 3 times for 10 minutes each time. That's doable, that's manageable, and when you do it, praise yourself, and then the next week, extend that time. Give yourself more. How
about money? I'm not going to get an inheritance this week. I'm not going to win the lottery this week. What little things can I do? What's one small step?
To try and
improve my financial situation.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people it's about sitting down and evaluating what they're spending their money on and paying attention to some of the things that maybe aren't necessary.
So in other words, the answer is already there.
Right.
You don't have to do a New Year's resolution. You just have to look at yourself and stop doing what you're doing now.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about the person who has decided, and this is professorial advice here, the person who has finally said, enough is enough, I'm tired of being sick and tired. Where can they generally start? What's the first thing they ought to do?
If the big thing is them feeling down?
Feeling whatever, when they say, I'm tired of smoking, I'm tired of overeating, I'm tired of not having any money. What's the mindset that they need?
Yeah. For a lot of people, I do think if you have tried repeatedly to change a behavior and you haven't had success doing it, one of the things whatever that behavior is, but especially if there's really dire health consequences or interpersonal consequences, I would encourage that person to reach out to a professional, psychologist, a counselor, or something like that, and say, hey, I'm trying to achieve this goal. I can't seem to do it. That's a thing that a lot of psychologists do. I mean, that's part of their goal, is to help people change those patterns, especially when they're really, really serious like that.
Yeah, got about 30 seconds here, but you just brought up an important point. New Year's resolutions are fun, but sometimes, especially in the area of weight loss, when you are obese, maybe it's not a good idea to try it yourself, that you do need that doctor.
Yep, absolutely. There are times where we're talking about things that are so serious that we need to enlist the help of a professional, someone whose job is to help people change those things.
Get you through it. All right, Professor Ryan Martin, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Yeah,
much
you bet.
appreciated. Had some fun. I hope we did some good for people out there. If you have a newsmaker in your town who you think we should have on this program, let us know about it. Send us an email to tips@wearegreenbay.com, or you can message us on Facebook. And be sure to join us once again Sunday morning at 7. Until then, have a great day.